Welcome everyone to a brand new deep dive. And a special welcome to you folks watching over on the Acronym Academy YouTube channel.
Glad to be here.
Today we're tackling something really useful, I think. It's a list of acronyms from the CompTIA A Core 2 exam, the 220-1202.
That's right. A lot of foundational stuff in there.
Yeah. So think of this as your, I don't know, your decoder ring for the tech world, maybe. Our mission, basically, is to unpack these abbreviations.
Explain what they mean, but also, crucially, why they matter.
Exactly. And we've got a pretty comprehensive list. We're going to go through them alphabetically just to keep things simple.
Sounds like a plan. Understanding these is like learning the lingo, really. It gets you access to the core ideas.
It really does. Okay, let's dive right in. First up, AAA.
Authentication, authorization, and accounting.
Right. Now imagine you're trying to get into like a really exclusive club. Authentication. That's you showing your ID at the door, yeah. Proving you are who you say you are.
Step one.
Then authorization. That's the bouncer, checking the guest list. Is your name down? Where are you allowed to go? Main floor only, or maybe VIP access.
Determines your permissions.
Exactly. And then accounting. That's like the club keeping a tab. What did you do inside? What drinks did you order? In tech terms, it's tracking what resources you access.
That's a great analogy. On a network, AAA is the gatekeeper. It makes sure only the right people log in, they only see what they're supposed to see, and importantly, there's a record of their actions.
For security, auditing, all that.
Absolutely. It's fundamental network security.
Okay, cool. Next is ACL. That's Access Control List.
Right.
Sticking with the club idea, maybe think of this as a really specific list. Not for the whole club, but maybe for like a private back room.
More granular.
Yeah. It says exactly who, or maybe even which specific device, can get into that digital space, like a particular server or folder.
And not just who, but what they can do. Read only. Or can they write, modify, delete?
Spells it all out.
That fine-grained control is the key thing about ACLs. You can get really specific with permissions. Different levels of access.
Like different backstage passes. Got it. Okay, moving on. ADF.
Automatic document feeder.
This one's pretty straightforward, I think. Picture a big photocopier, right? And you've got a huge stack of papers.
Instead of feeding them one by one.
Right. The ADF is that tray on top that just pulls each page through automatically. Saves a ton of time.
It does. And while we see it on physical scanners, that core idea, automating input, that's everywhere in IT. Processing batches of files, feeding data into systems.
Ah, good point. Okay, now for something a bit more technical. AES.
Advanced Encryption Standard.
Okay, think Fort Knox. For your digital info. Imagine you send a secret message, but before you send it, you scramble it with a super complex code.
Unbreakable, pretty much, without the key.
Exactly. Only someone with the secret key can unscramble it. That's AES. It's a really strong way to keep data private.
It really is the gold standard. Adopted worldwide by governments, industry, its strength is in the math behind it. Without the key, the scrambled data is just gibberish.
Makes sense. Okay, next is AMD.
Advanced Micro Devices, Inc.
Right. These are the folks who make some really key computer parts. Processors, the brains, and graphics cards.
Big players in the semiconductor world, competitors to Intel, NVIDIA.
Kind of like different car companies making engines, right? They provide the power, the graphics power.
Exactly. They push innovation, give consumers choice, which is good for everyone.
Definitely. Okay, then we have AP, Access Point. This is the hub, right, that lets your wireless stuff phone, laptop connect to a wired network, usually via Wi-Fi.
It's the bridge, like a lighthouse broadcasting that Wi-Fi signal devices lock onto.
Good analogy. And often it's built right into your home router, yeah.
I often these days, yeah. Handles both wired and wireless connections, your gateway to the internet.
Cool. Next, APFS.
Apple File System.
So this is specific to Apple devices, Macs, iPhones. It's how they organize and store files on their drives. Photos, apps, documents, everything.
Think of it as Apple's specific filing cabinet system, optimized for their hardware and software.
Different operating systems have their own ways, right? Like libraries cataloging books differently.
Precisely. APFS is tailored for Apple, offering things like strong encryption designed for their ecosystem.
Gotcha. Okay, this next one's a bit of a mouthful. APA.
Automatic Private Internet Protocol Addressing.
Okay, picture this. Your computer tries to get its digital address, its IP address, from the network. But the server that usually gives those out it's not responding.
DHCP servers down, maybe?
Right. So instead of just giving up, APA is like your computer saying, okay, I'll just give myself a temporary local nickname for now.
So it can at least talk to other devices right there on the same immediate network segment.
Yeah, exactly. It's a temporary self-assigned address. Yeah, just for local chat until it gets a proper one.
The key is it's automatic, a fallback mechanism, like a temporary walkie-talkie channel when the main phones are down for a small group.
Interesting. Okay, then ARM.
Advanced RISC machine, or Advanced RIC machine. RISC being a reduced instruction set computer.
Okay. And this is a type of processor design known for being really energy efficient,
Now,
right?
hugely efficient. That's why it powers almost all smartphones and tablets.
Like a super efficient engine design. SIPS power. Perfect for battery devices.
Absolutely. And their influence is growing now into laptops, even some servers where efficiency is key.
Right. Okay, next up, ATX.
Advanced Technology Extended.
This is about standards, isn't it? For motherboards, the main circuit board and power supplies, their physical size and layout.
Exactly. It ensures that parts from different companies will actually fit together and work, like standard Lego block sizes.
Makes building and upgrading PCs possible, really.
Crucial, ATX has been the dominant standard for years, creating that compatibility across loads of hardware.
Okay, then we have AUP.
Acceptable use policy.
Basically the rules you agree to when you use a company network, school internet, and online service.
Spells out what's okay and what's definitely not okay.
Like community guidelines for a forum or terms of service for an app.
It sets the boundaries, protects the user, protects the provider, defines responsible use.
Right. Now, shifting gears to something a bit concerning. BEC.
Business email compromise.
This is cybercrime.
Yeah.
Criminals trying to trick employees into sending money or sensitive info through fake emails.
And these emails look really convincing, often pretending to be the CEO or someone in finance.
Like digital con artists targeting businesses specifically. Very sophisticated scams.
The danger is the social engineering. They manipulate people to bypass security tech. Emails look real, the requests seem urgent. Very dangerous.
Yeah, scary stuff. Okay, next.
BIOS.
Basic input-output system.
This is the very first software that runs when you turn your computer on, right?
That's it. Performs initial hardware checks, POST, which we'll get to,
Yeah.
and then starts loading the operating system, like the computer's startup routine. The pilot's pre-flight checklist.
It's the firmware on the motherboard, initializes the CPU, memory, basic hardware, then hands off to the bootloader. Crucial first step.
Got it. Okay, B and C.
Bayonet Neil Consulman.
A type of connector. You might see it on older network stuff, maybe some video cables.
Yeah, older Ethernet sometimes, professional
Yeah.
video gear. It has that distinctive twist and lock mechanism.
Like an old garden hose connector you have to line up and twist.
Pretty much. Still used in some specialized areas where that secure lock is important.
Okay, next one. BSOD.
The infamous blue screen of death.
Yeah, if you've used Windows for a while, you've probably seen it. That error screen when Windows crashes hard.
A critical system error it can't recover from. Something has gone seriously wrong deep down.
The computer equivalent of a medical emergency, kind of.
It's a system stop error. Needs a reboot. But the info on the screen can sometimes give clues for troubleshooting if you know what to look for.
Right. And the last one for this block, BYOD.
Bring your own device.
This is a workplace policy, yeah, where employees can use their own personal phones, laptops, tablets for work stuff.
Accessing company resources on their own gear.
Can be flexible for employees, maybe saves the company money.
But it brings big security challenges. Managing all those different devices, keeping data safe. It's tricky.
Definitely sounds like it.
Okay.
Okay, let's move into the next section, starting with CAC.
Calling card authorization computer.
Right. This one might feel a bit historical. It's the system phone companies use for handling calls made with those old calling cards.
Yeah, pre-mobile phone era mostly. It authenticated the card, tracked usage, handled billing.
Shows how tech changes, eh?
Ah,
Largely obsolete now.
pretty much, but it was essential back then.
Okay, next. CIFS.
Common Internet File System.
This is a network protocol, mainly in Windows environments, for sharing files, right?
Exactly. Lets computers on the same local network access shared folders and files.
Like a shared digital filing cabinet, everyone on the network can use.
Makes collaboration much easier. No need for USB sticks to move files around locally.
Got it. Then CMDB.
Configuration Management Database.
Okay, this sounds important. like a super detailed inventory of everything in an IT setup.
Yeah.
Hardware, software, network gear.
And crucially, how it all connects and depends on each other. A map of the entire IT landscape.
Wow, so it's a central database of all IT assets and their relationships.
Absolutely critical for managing IT. Think incident response, planning changes, capacity planning. You need to know how things are connected.
Makes sense. Okay, a technical one next. CNAME.
Canonical name, found in DNS.
Right, DNS, domain name system.
Yeah.
We'll get there. So a CNAME is like a nickname for a website address that points to its real name.
Exactly. For example, www.example.com could be a CNAME pointing to the actual server, maybe webserver1.example.com.
Creates an alias, useful for branding maybe. So
Yeah.
example.com and www.example.com go to the same place.
Precisely. Or for load balancing, directing traffic, it provides flexibility in naming.
Cool. Okay, now for the big one, CPU.
Central processing unit.
The brain, the absolute core of the computer. Does most of the calculations, runs the instructions.
It's the engine. Its speed dictates the overall responsiveness of the machine.
Like the conductor of the orchestra, telling all the other parts what to do.
A very apt analogy. Modern CPUs are incredibly complex, billions of tiny switches working at immense speeds.
Amazing stuff. Okay, next is DB9.
D's subminiature 9-pin connector.
Right, that D-shaped metal connector with 9 pins, used for older serial stuff.
Yeah, old mice, modems. Some printers used serial ports with DB9 connectors.
Before USB took over.
Exactly. Still might see them in some industrial or older systems, though.
Okay, now for a nasty one. DDoS.
Distributed denial of service.
This is a cyber attack, right? Where attackers use a whole army of compromised computers
A botnet.
to
Yeah.
flood a target website or server with so much junk traffic that it just collapses. Real users can't get through.
Like a flash mob swarming a shop, blocking the door for actual customers.
And the distributed part means the attack comes from everywhere at once.
That's the key challenge. It's not just one source, it's thousands, maybe millions. Very hard to block completely.
Nasty. Okay, then DDR,
Double data rate refers to RAM.
computer memory, yeah. So DDR memory transfers data twice per clock cycle, makes it faster.
Effectively doubles the data transfer rate compared to older SDRAM.
Like a highway where data can flow in both directions on each lane at the same time.
Good way to think of it. Boosts the speed between RAM and the CPU, which is vital for performance.
Makes sense. Next,
DHCP.
Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol.
This is the thing that automatically gives your device an IP address when it joins a network, right?
Yes, and other crucial info like the subnet mask, default gateway, DNS servers.
So you don't have to type all that stuff in manually every time you connect to Wi-Fi somewhere new.
Exactly. It simplifies everything, prevents IP address conflicts, like a hotel automatically assigning you a room number when you check in.
Very handy. Okay, DIMM.
Dual inline memory module.
This is the physical stick of RAM, right? The thing you plug into the motherboard in a desktop or server. That's the one. Holds the actual memory chips. Standard form factor for desktops.
Got it. Okay, next is DGM.
Domain keys identified mail.
An email thing, authentication. Helps verify the sender.
Yes, and checks if the email content was altered, like a digital signature for emails.
Helps fight email spoofing and phishing.
Crucial for that. Receiving servers check the DCAM signature to confirm the email really came from the claimed domain and wasn't tampered with. Improves trust.
Good. Then DLP.
Data loss prevention.
This is about stopping sensitive data from leaving an organization's control, right? Accidentally or maliciously.
Exactly. Strategies, technologies, policies to prevent data leakage.
Like security stopping someone from walking out of the office with confidential papers.
Or preventing sensitive emails from being sent to the wrong person. DLP solutions monitor data in use, in motion, and at rest.
Comprehensive. Okay, another email one. DMRC.
Domain-based message authentication, reporting, and conformance.
This builds on SPF and DCAM, right? Even more email security.
Correct. It lets domain owners tell receiving servers what to do with emails that fail SPF or DCAM checks, reject them, quarantine them.
And it provides reporting so you can see who's trying to spoof your domain.
Exactly. Adds policy and reporting on top of the other authentication methods. More control, more visibility.
Very useful. Okay, now a really fundamental one, DNS.
Domain name system?
The phone book of the internet, we mentioned it earlier, translates website names we use, like google.com.
Dot into the numerical IP addresses that computers actually use to find each other.
Couldn't really use the internet without it, could we? Imagine remembering all those numbers.
It would be impossible. DNS is this huge distributed system that makes the web usable for humans. Absolutely critical.
Right. Then DOS.
Denial of service.
Similar to DDoS, but the attack comes from just one source, right?
Typically, yes. One attacker trying to overwhelm a target to make it unavailable.
Like one person constantly calling a shop's phone line, blocking it for everyone else.
Exactly. Sometimes easier to block than a DDoS because the source is singular.
Got it. Okay, DRM.
Digital rights management.
This is about controlling copyrighted digital stuff. Music, movies, software.
Yes. Technology is used to control how digital content is used and distributed.
Like copy protection on a DVD, or limiting how many computers you can install software on.
Aims to protect intellectual property. Can sometimes be seen as restrictive by users, though.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, DSL.
Digital subscriber line.
Internet over standard phone lines.
That's the one. Uses different frequencies so you can use the phone and internet at the same time.
An older broadband technology, but still common in some areas.
Utilizes existing copper phone lines. Different types like ADSL, VDSL offer different speeds.
Right. And finally, for this block, DVI.
Digital visual interface.
A video connector. For hooking up monitors to computers, digital. So better quality than older analog stuff.
Generally, yes. Clearer, sharper image.
But mostly replaced now by HDMI and DisplayPort, yeah.
Largely, yes. DVI doesn't usually carry audio, and the newer standards offer higher bandwidth too. Still find it on older gear though.
Okay, great. Let's keep this rolling into the E's and F's, starting with ECC.
Error correcting code usually refers to ECC memory.
Right, memory that can actually detect and fix certain errors.
Exactly. It finds and corrects common types of internal data corruption on the fly.
Like a built-in spell checker for RAM, ensuring data integrity.
Especially important in servers and critical systems where even tiny errors can cause big problems. Boosts reliability.
Makes sense. Okay, EDR.
Endpoint detection and response.
This is advanced security for individual computers, laptops, servers, the endpoints.
Right. It constantly monitors activity on those devices to spot and react to threats in real time.
Like security guards at every door and window watching for anything suspicious.
Goes beyond basic antivirus. Looks for weird behavior, not just known malware signatures. Can automatically respond to contain threats.
Sounds powerful. Next, EFS.
Encrypting file system.
A Windows feature, right. Lets you encrypt specific files or folders on your local machine.
Yes, so only you or someone with your key can read them. To anyone else, they look like scrambled nonsense.
Like a personal digital safe within your file system.
Unlike full disk encryption, which does the whole drive, EFS lets you pick and choose what to encrypt locally, transparent to the user who encrypted it.
Got it. EOL.
End of life.
When a product, hardware, or software is no longer supported by the maker.
Correct. No more updates, no security patches, maybe no tech support, they might stop selling it too.
Important for IT planning. Using EOL stuff is risky, right? Security holes don't get fixed.
Very risky, and can cause compatibility problems with newer systems. Need to plan for replacements.
Definitely. Okay, eSAN.
External Serial Advanced Technology Attachment.
An external connector specifically for storage devices, like hard drives. Faster than older USB.
Yeah, designed for high-speed external storage. Offer better performance than, say, USB 2.0 for big file transfers.
Like a dedicated fast lane for external drives.
Though modern USB standards like USB 3 and Thunderbolt have caught up or surpassed it in many cases, but it was important for a time.
Right. Okay, ESD.
Electrostatic discharge.
That static shock you sometimes get touching a doorknob.
Exactly. That sudden zap. It's a sudden flow of electricity between charged objects.
And it can seriously damage sensitive computer parts, even if you don't feel a big shock.
Absolutely. Even small discharges can fry components. That's why techs use anti-static wrist straps and mats when working inside computers.
Crucial safety tip. Okay, EULA.
End User License Agreement.
The legal contract you click agree to when you install software.
That's the one. Outlines the terms and conditions for using the software, what you can and can't do with it.
Often long and full of legalese that people don't read.
But technically, it's a binding agreement defining your rights and responsibilities as a user.
Good to know. Then XFA.
Extended File Allocation Table.
A file system, mainly for bigger external drives like USB sticks and SD cards.
Yes. Handles larger files and drive sizes than older FAT systems, and it works well across different operating systems, like Windows and Mac OS.
So good for portable storage that you might use on different computers.
Exactly. Offers that compatibility and support for large files, like big video files.
Okay, and that leads nicely into just FAT.
File Allocation Table, the older version.
Used back in the DOS and early Windows days. for floppy disks and early hard drives.
Right. Much simpler, but with limitations on file size, partition size, and features compared to modern systems like NTFS or XFS.
Still used sometimes on small, simple devices, maybe.
Occasionally, yeah. Low overhead, very compatible with basic systems.
Got it. FRT.
Facial recognition technology.
Biometrics. Identifying people by analyzing their faces from pictures or video.
That's it. Used for unlocking phones, security access, surveillance. Lots of applications now.
Becoming pretty common.
Definitely. Uses unique facial characteristics for identification or verification.
Okay, and the last one for this block, FTP.
File transfer protocol.
A standard way to transfer files between computers over a network, often used for websites.
Yeah, uploading files to a web server is a classic use case. Downloading large files, too.
Like a specific set of rules for moving files around online.
Though it's generally considered insecure now because it doesn't encrypt the data or login info, protocols like SFTP or SCP are preferred for security.
Ah, good point. Security first. Okay, moving into the G's and H's. Starting with GFS.
Grandfather, father, son.
This is about backups, right? A rotation scheme?
Yes, a common one. You keep daily backups, sons, weekly backups, fathers, and monthly backups, grandfathers.
So you have recent backups for quick restores and older ones kept longer for archival.
Exactly. It balances recovery needs with long-term retention, different tiers of protection.
Simple but effective. Okay, GPS.
Global positioning system.
The satellite system that tells your phone or car where you are.
That's it. Uses signals from orbiting satellites to calculate location and time, anywhere with a clear view of the sky.
Pretty much indispensable now for navigation, maps, tracking.
Absolutely. Foundational for location-based services.
Right, then GPT.
GID partition table, or globally unique identifier partition table.
This is about how hard drives are organized, partitioned,
Yeah.
the modern way,
Yeah.
replacing the older MBR.
Correct. Supports much larger drives and more partitions than MBR. Standard now for modern systems.
And GUID means unique identifiers for each partition.
Yes. Enhances reliability and flexibility. Essential for today's large storage drives.
Okay, and speaking of GUID,
Globally unique identifier.
a super long, unique number used to identify things in computers, software, hardware.
A 128-bit number designed to be unique across all systems, everywhere. Virtually impossible to have duplicates.
Like a universal serial number to avoid any confusion.
Especially important in distributed systems where multiple computers need to refer to the same thing unambiguously.
Gotcha. HDD,
Hard disk drive.
the traditional spinning disk storage, magnetic platters, read-write heads moving across them,
That's the one. Still used, especially for large amounts of storage cost effectively.
but being replaced a lot by SSDs now.
Increasingly, yes. SSDs are much faster. But HDDs still have their place for bulk storage.
Okay, HDMI,
High definition multimedia interface.
the common cable for connecting TVs, game consoles, computers, carries high-def video and audio.
Yes, all in one cable. Simplifies connections for home entertainment. Standard now.
Much cleaner than the old days with multiple cables.
Definitely.
Okay, HSM.
Hardware security module.
This sounds serious. A physical device for managing super-sensitive keys, cryptographic keys.
Exactly. A highly secure, tamper-proof hardware vault for storing and using digital keys for things like strong authentication encryption.
So the keys never leave the protected hardware. Makes them much safer.
Precisely. Used in banking, digital signatures, places needing top-level key security.
Impressive. Okay, two related ones. HTTP,
Hypertext Transfer Protocol.
the basic language of the World Wide Web, how browsers and servers talk.
Fundamentally, yes. Defines how messages are formatted and sent for web communication.
And then HTTPS,
Hypertext Transfer Protocol Secure.
the secure version. The S means the connection is encrypted, right?
That's it. Uses SSL or TLS encryption. You see the padlock in your browser address bar.
Essential for anything sensitive, online passwords, credit cards. Protects your data from eavesdroppers.
Absolutely. Standard now for almost all legitimate websites. If you don't see HTTPS, be very cautious about entering info.
There's advice. All right, let's tackle the I's, J's, K's, starting with IS.
Infrastructure as a service, cloud computing term.
Right. This is where you rent the basic building blocks from a cloud provider. Virtual servers, storage, networking.
And you manage the operating systems and applications yourself on top of that rented infrastructure.
Like renting the land and foundation.
Yeah.
And you build your own house on it.
Kind of, yeah. Offers flexibility and scalability without buying physical hardware. You rent what you need.
Okay? Then INM.
Identity access management.
This is all about managing who gets access to what in an IT system, right? policies, technologies.
Ensuring the right users have the right permissions to the right resources at the right times, and only those permissions.
Super important for security and compliance. Controlling digital identities.
Fundamental, manages a whole user lifecycle from joining to leaving.
Makes sense. Okay, IME.
Internet Mail Access Protocol for email.
Right. This is one way email clients get messages from the server. And with IME, the emails stay on the server, yeah.
Typically, yes, which means you can access the same mailbox from multiple devices, phone, laptop, tablet, and it stays synchronized.
So if I read an email on my phone, it shows as read on my laptop too.
Exactly. Like checking your mailbox at the post office, the mail stays in the box until you explicitly move or delete it.
Yeah.
Very popular for that multi-device sync.
Cool. Next is IOPS,
Input-output operations per second.
a performance metric for storage drives. How many reads and writes they can do per second.
That's it. A key measure of how fast and responsive a drive is, especially for tasks with lots of small, random data access.
So higher IOPS generally means faster loading, quicker file access.
Generally, yes. Particularly noticeable with SSDs compared to HDDs.
Got it. IoT.
Internet of Things.
This is the huge network of physical devices, things, with sensors and software all connected to the internet, collecting and sharing data.
Exactly. Smart thermostats, connected cars, industrial sensors, smartwatches. It's everywhere now.
Transforming everything, enabling automation, remote monitoring.
Huge potential and also significant security consideration.
Definitely. Okay, IP.
Internet Protocol.
The absolute fundamental addressing system for the internet. How data packets find their way across networks.
It's the core protocol for addressing and routing data, like the Postal Service defining addresses and routes.
Works hand in hand with TCP usually, right? IP finds the address, TCP makes sure the data gets there reliably.
That's a common pairing, yes. IP provides the basic delivery mechanism.
Got it. IPS. But this is an intrusion prevention system, is it?
No, in this context, it's in-plane switching, a display panel technology.
Right. LCD technology.
Mm-hmm.
Known for good colors and wide viewing angles.
Yes. The image looks consistent even if you're not looking straight at the screen.
Good for graphic design, photo editing, where color accuracy matters.
Exactly. Often preferred for those tasks and generally gives a better viewing experience than older TN panels.
Okay, ISO.
International Organization for Standardization.
The body that develops and publishes all sorts of international standards for tech, quality management, safety.
That's them. A huge range of standards used globally to ensure consistency, safety, interoperability.
Like ISO 9001 for quality or ISO 27001 for information security.
Precisely. They play a crucial role in global commerce and technology.
Right, then ITX.
Information Technology Extended, motherboard form factors.
Smaller than the standard ATX, used in small computers.
Yeah, mini ITX, nano ITX, designed for compact builds, home theater PCs, small desktops.
Allows powerful systems in tiny boxes.
Exactly, great for space-saving applications.
And finally for this section, KVM.
Keyboard video mouse.
A switch, right? Lets you control multiple computers using just one keyboard, monitor, and mouse.
That's it. You press a button or a key combination, and it switches control between the connected computers.
Super useful for IT pros managing servers, or anyone needing to run multiple machines from one desk.
Big space saver and productivity booster in those situations.
Definitely see the appeal. Okay, cruising into the L's and M's. First up, LAN.
Local area network.
Your basic network in a limited area, right? Home, office, school, connecting devices nearby.
Exactly. Allows local communication, resource sharing like printers, and usually connects out to the wider internet.
The foundation of most networking. Okay, LC.
Lucent connector. Fiber optic connector.
Small one, used for high-speed data. Push-pull locking mechanism.
That's the one. Very common in data centers, telecom networks. Its small size is good for dense connections.
Right. Then LCD.
Liquid crystal display.
The common flat panel screen tech. Used TVs, monitors, laptops, phones. Uses liquid crystals to control light.
That's it. Dominant tech for years. Good balance of quality, cost, power use, though OLED is challenging it now.
True. Okay, LDAP.
Lightweight directory access protocol.
A protocol for accessing directory services, like a network phone book for users, groups, devices.
Exactly. An open standard for querying and managing directory information over a network.
Often used for central login, right?
Yeah.
One username password for multiple services.
Yes, common for authentication and storing network resource info in a structured way.
Got it. LED.
Light emitting diode.
The little semiconductor lights. Used everywhere now. Indicator lights, screen backlights, light bulbs.
Super energy efficient, long-lasting, versatile. That's why they've taken over.
Makes sense. Okay, MC address.
Media access control address.
The unique hardware address burned into every network card. Wired or wireless?
Yes, a 48-bit identifier, like the physical serial number for your network interface, used for communication within the local network segment.
Operates at a lower level than IP addresses, right? Layer 2.
Correct. Used for device-to-device communication on the same local network, assigned by the manufacturer.
Okay, MAN.
Metropolitan Area Network.
Bigger than a LAN, smaller than a WAN. Connects multiple locations within a city, maybe?
Typically, yes. Might connect several office buildings for one company or provide citywide services.
Gotcha. MBR.
Master boot record.
The old way of partitioning drives and starting the boot process, stored in the very first sector.
That's it. Contains the partition table and the initial boot code.
But limited, especially with big drives. Mostly replaced by GPT now.
Yes, GPT is the modern standard, overcoming MBR's limitations.
Okay, MDM.
Mobile device management.
Software for companies to manage smartphones and tablets used by employees.
Exactly. Allows IT to configure devices, enforce security policies, deploy apps, even wipe devices remotely if lost or stolen.
Crucial for handling BYOD and company-issued mobile devices securely.
Absolutely. Essential for data protection and compliance on mobile platform.
Right, MDR.
Managed detection and response.
It's a security service, right, where a company outsources threat hunting and incident response.
Yes. A third-party team provides 247 monitoring, expert analysis, and helps respond to attacks.
Like having an elite security team on call.
Pretty much. Gives organizations access to advanced skills and tools they might not have in-house.
Makes sense. MFA.
Multi-factor authentication.
Using more than one way to prove who you are when logging in. Something you know, password, plus something you have, phone code, or something you are, fingerprint.
Exactly. Adds layers of security. Even if someone steals your password, they still need the second factor.
Like having 2 different locks on your door. Much harder to break in.
Hugely important security measure. Should use it wherever available.
Agreed. Okay, MMC,
Microsoft Management Console.
a Windows thing. A framework that hosts administrative tools called snap-ins.
Yes. Provides a consistent interface for managing various Windows components, users, services, disks, event logs.
A central hub for sysadmins.
A powerful tool for managing Windows systems effectively.
Okay. MNDA.
Mutual non-disclosure agreement.
A legal agreement where 2 or more parties agree to keep each other's shared information confidential.
Yes, it's reciprocal. Both sides are promising secrecy.
Common in business deals where sensitive info is exchanged.
Exactly. Protects proprietary information during collaborations or negotiations.
Got it.
MVEDA.
Mini serial advanced technology attachment.
A smaller version of the SATA connector used for SSDs in small devices like laptops.
That's it. Same SATA performance, just a smaller form factor for tight spaces.
Allows SSDs in really thin notebooks and such.
Precisely. Space-saving storage interface.
Okay. MSDS.
Material safety data sheet. Although now often called just SDS, safety data sheet.
The document with info on chemical hazards, health, fire, safety precautions.
Yes, essential info for anyone working with chemicals. How to handle them safely, what to do in an emergency.
Crucial for workplace safety and regulations.
Yeah,
and last one for the M's, MX record.
Mail exchanger record. DNS record type.
Tells the internet where to send email for a specific domain. Points to the mail servers.
Exactly. When someone emails you at example.com, their server looks up the MX record for example.com to find your mail server's address, like the designated mail sorting facility address for your domain. Essential for email delivery.
Fundamental part of how email gets routed correctly. Domains usually have multiple MX records for redundancy.
Makes sense. All right, heading into the N's, O's, and P's. Starting with NDA.
Non-disclosure agreements.
Similar to MNDA, but maybe just one party sharing secrets and the other promising not to tell. Or it can be mutual too.
Can be one-way or mutual. It's a legal contract outlining confidential info and restricting its disclosure.
Protects secrets when sharing with employees, contractors, potential partners.
Essential for protecting sensitive business info.
Okay. NetBIOS.
Network Basic Input-Output System.
An older networking protocol for communication on a local network. Handles naming, sessions.
Yes, allowed applications on different computers on a LAN to talk to each other. Predates widespread TCP/IP on LANs.
Largely replaced now, but might see it in older Windows environments.
Still pops up sometimes, but TCP/IP is the standard for modern networking.
Got it. NFC.
Near-field communication.
Short-range wireless. Tap to pay, pairing devices by touching them.
That's it. Works over just a few centimeters. Simple setup, low speed, used for quick interactions.
Convenient for payments, transferring contacts, connecting Bluetooth headphones quickly.
Exactly. Secure for those short-range uses.
Cool. NIC.
Network interface card, sometimes network interface controller.
The hardware that physically connects your computer to the network. Ethernet port or Wi-Fi adapter.
Yes. Can be a separate card or built into the motherboard. Provides the physical connection.
The gateway for data in and out of your computer over the network.
Essentially, yes. Handles the signaling and data formats for the network.
Okay. NTFS.
New technology file system.
A standard file system for modern Windows. Better than FAT?
Yes. Supports larger files and partitions, file-level security permissions, journaling for reliability, more robust. Optimized for Windows environments. Correct.
Okay. NTP.
Network Time Protocol.
Keeps the clocks on all your computers synchronized over the network.
That's its job. Ensures consistent and accurate time across devices.
Important for logs, security, coordinating tasks, right?
Very important. NTP servers often get their time from highly accurate sources like atomic clocks.
Wow. Okay, NVMe.
Non-volatile Memory Express. Storage protocol.
Designed specifically for fast SSDs connecting over the PCIe bus. Much faster than SATA SSDs.
Significantly faster. Lower latency, higher bandwidth. It's like a direct highway for the SSD data.
Really unlocks the speed potential of modern flash memory. Noticeable difference in boot times, loading apps.
Definitely. The standard now for high-performance SSDs.
Okay, OLED.
Organic light-emitting diode. Display tech.
Uses organic compounds that light up. Known for amazing colors, deep blacks.
Yes. Each pixel emits its own light, so no backlight needed like LCDs.
No.
Leads to perfect blacks, great contrast, vibrant colors.
Seeing it more in phones, high-end TVs, some laptop.
Offers superior image quality in many ways.
Cool. ONT.
Optical network terminal.
The box where the fiber optic cable comes into your house for FTP internet.
Yes. It terminates the fiber line and converts the light signals into electrical signals your router can use.
The bridge between the fiber network and your home network.
Exactly.
Right.
Enables those super fast fiber speeds.
Right.
OS.
Operating system.
The fundamental software managing the computer. Windows, macOS, Linux, Android, iOS.
The foundation everything else runs on. Manages hardware, software resources, provides services for applications.
The conductor of the whole computer system, maybe.
Another good analogy. Coordinates everything. Allows hardware and software to work together.
Essential. Okay, OTP.
One-time password passcode?
A password that only works once. Like those codes sent to your phone for 2FA.
Exactly. Or codes generated by an authenticator app. Valid for just one login or transaction.
Greatly increases security because even if stolen, it expires quickly.
Very effective against password theft. A key part of MFA.
Right.
Platform as a service. Another cloud model.
This is where the cloud provider gives you not just infrastructure, but also the platform OS, databases, development tools. Yes. You just focus on developing and running your applications without managing the underlying platform or infrastructure.
Like renting a fully equipped workshop, tools and all. You just bring your project and build it.
Good way to put it. Speeds up development, simplifies management for developers.
Okay. PAM.
Privileged access management. Security discipline.
Managing the super user accounts. The admin accounts with all the power.
Exactly. Restricting who gets privileged access, controlling what they can do, and monitoring their actions closely.
Managing the keys to the kingdom to prevent misuse or limit damage if compromised.
Crucial for security. Privileged accounts are high-value targets for attackers.
Makes sense. PAN.
Personal area network.
A small network around just one person. Like Bluetooth connecting your phone to headphones.
Yes. Or connecting a laptop to a wireless mouse nearby. Short-range personal device connections.
Got it. PC.
Personal computer.
The general-purpose computer for end users. Desktops, laptops.
The kind most people use day-to-day for work, browsing, etc.
Simple enough. Okay, PCI.
Peripheral component interconnect. Older expansion slot standard.
For plugging in graphics cards, network cards, sound cards back in the day.
Yes. The standard way to add hardware capabilities to PCs for many years.
So it's slower than the modern standard.
Which is PCIe, Peripheral Component Interconnect Express.
Right. The high-speed serial bus that replaced PCI offers much more bandwidth.
Way more bandwidth. Essential for modern graphics cards, NVMe SSDs, fast network cards, the current standard for expansion slots.
Got it. PII.
Personally identifiable information.
Any data that could identify a specific person.
Yeah.
Name, address, social security number, credit card.
Yes. Sensitive information that needs to be protected under privacy laws and regulations.
Compromise of PII can lead to identity theft. Big deal.
Huge deal. Protecting PII is critical for any organization handling personal data.
Right. PIN.
Personal identification number.
Short numerical password, like for your ATM card or phone lock screen.
Usually 4 to 6 digits. Simple authentication method.
Less secure than complex passwords, though.
Generally, yes. Easier to guess or observe.
Okay. PIV card.
Personal identity verification card. U.S. federal standard.
Secure ID cards for federal employees and contractors. Used for access authentication.
Yes. A standardized, high-security credential for government personnel.
Gotcha. PoE.
Power over Ethernet.
Sending electrical power through the Ethernet network cable, along with data.
Exactly. Allows you to power devices like IP cameras, VoIP phones, wireless access points directly via the network cable.
No need for a separate power outlet near the device. Simplifies installation, especially in tricky spots like ceilings.
Very convenient for those types of deployments.
Okay. POP.
Post Office Protocol. Another email protocol.
This one typically downloads emails to your device and removes them from the server, right?
That's the default behavior, yes. Unlike IMAP, which leaves them on the server.
Like collecting your physical mail once you take it, the mailbox is empty. Makes multi-device access harder.
Can be problematic for that reason, yeah. And potential data loss if your device fails before backups. Simpler, but less flexible than IM.
Okay. Pieced.
Power on self-test.
The quick hardware check the BIOS UEFI does every time you turn the computer on.
That's it. Check CPU, RAM, basic components before trying to load the OS.
If it finds a problem, you get beep codes or an error message.
Usually, yes. Indicates a hardware issue preventing boot up.
The computer's initial health checkup. Got it. And finally for the P's. PUP.
Potentially unwanted program.
Software you didn't necessarily mean to install, often bundled with other free software. Can be annoying or even risky.
Right. Might display tons of ads, change browser settings, collect data sneakily. Not technically malware, but definitely unwanted.
Can be a nuisance and sometimes a privacy concern. Important to watch out during installations.
Definitely. Read the checkboxes carefully.
Good advice. Okay, into the R's and S's. Let's start with RadioS.
Remote authentication dial-in user server.
A networking protocol for centralized AAA. Authentication, authorization, accounting. Often used for Wi-Fi or VPN access.
Yes. Lets you manage network access from a central point. Users authenticate against the radio server to get onto the network.
Makes managing access policies easier for organizations.
Much more scalable and consistent than managing access on individual devices.
Okay.
RAID, redundant array of independent disks, sometimes inexpensive disks.
Combining multiple physical drives to act as one logical unit for speed or redundancy or both.
Exactly. Different RAID levels offer different benefits. RAID 0 stripes data for speed but no redundancy. RAID 1 mirrors data for redundancy. RAID 5 uses parity for redundancy and some speed.
So, ways to make storage faster or safer if a drive fails.
Or both, depending on the level chosen. Common in servers and network storage.
Makes sense.
RAM.
Random access memory.
The computer's short-term, fast, volatile memory, where it keeps data it's actively working on.
Yes. The computer's workspace. More RAM means it can juggle more tasks simultaneously without slowing down.
But its volatile data disappears when the power goes off. Need HDD or SSD for permanent storage. Correct. RAM is for active work, storage is for keeping things long-term.
Okay. RDP.
Remote Desktop Protocol, Microsoft's tech.
Lets you connect to and control another computer over the network graphically. See its desktop, use its apps.
That's it, like you're sitting right in front of the remote machine.
Widely used for remote support, accessing work computers from home.
Very common tool for remote access in Windows environments.
Right, RefFS.
Resilient file system. Newer Microsoft file system.
Designed to be more robust against data corruption than NTFS.
Yeah.
Especially for large volumes.
Yes. Focuses on data integrity and availability. Has features like self-healing for certain errors. Used mainly in Windows Server environment.
An evolution of NTFS for greater data protection.
That's the idea.
Okay.
RFID.
Radio frequency identification.
Using radio waves to identify tags attached to objects or people. Contactless reading.
Yes. Think key cards for building access, inventory tags in stores, pet microchips. The reader picks up a signal from the tag.
Used for tracking, access control, payments. Lots of uses. Very versatile for automatic identification.
Cool. Okay. 2 connectors. RJ11
Registered jack function 11, the smaller one.
for standard telephone jacks.
Yeah.
Landlines, old modems,
Primarily, yes, usually 4 or 6 pin.
and RJ45
Registered jack function 45, the larger one.
for Ethernet network cables, connecting computers, routers.
The standard connector for wired networking, usually 8 pins, ubiquitous in LANs.
Got the difference, okay. RMM.
Remote monitoring and management.
Software used by IT providers or departments to manage computers and networks remotely.
Yes, allows them to monitor health, push updates, troubleshoot issues, provide support without being physically present.
Proactive IT management. Improves efficiency, uptime.
Essential tools for managed service providers and larger IT teams.
Okay. RSR.
Rapid security response. Mostly an Apple thing.
Yes, particularly iOS and macOS. Small, urgent security fixes delivered quickly outside of full OS updates.
Exactly. Addresses critical vulnerabilities faster than waiting for the next major or minor OS release.
Keeps devices safer more quickly.
That's the goal. Minimizes exposure time to known threats.
Good idea. Okay, SaaS.
Software as a service. Cloud model again.
Accessing software over the internet, usually via subscription, instead of installing it locally.
Right. Think Gmail, Salesforce, Netflix, Office 365 Online. Provider hosts and manages the software.
Very convenient. Access from anywhere, updates are automatic.
Hugely popular model for software delivery now.
Definitely.
Security assertions markup language.
An open standard for exchanging login info between systems. Enables single sign-on, SSO.
Yes. Allows an identity provider to securely tell a service provider that you're authenticated.
So you log in once and can access multiple different apps without logging in again.
That's the main use case. Improves user experience and can centralize authentication security.
Very useful in corporate environments. Okay, SAN.
Storage area network.
A dedicated high-speed network just for connecting servers to storage devices, like big disk arrays.
Exactly. Provides block-level access, making the shared storage appear like local disks to the servers. High performance, high availability.
Common in enterprises for critical applications needing fast, reliable shared storage.
Yes, provides scalable and centralized storage infrastructure.
Okay, SAS.
Serial attached SCSI. Sometimes serial attached small computer system interface.
A high-speed interface for connecting storage drives, mainly in servers. Faster than older parallel SCSI.
Yes. Point-to-point serial connection. Offers better performance and reliability for demanding enterprise storage.
Competes with SATA, but often higher performance and features for servers.
Generally, yes.
Okay, and SATA.
Serial advanced technology attachment.
Standard interface for connecting internal hard drives, SSDs, optical drives, and most PCs.
The workhorse interface for consumer and many business computers for years. Connects drives to the motherboard.
Good balance of performance and cost.
Exactly.
Right.
SC.
Subscriber connector or square connector. Fiber optic again.
Push-pull latching mechanism. Used in telecom, data networking. Yes. Common, reliable connector for single-mode and multi-mode fiber. Known for good performance.
Got it, Segura.
Supervisory control and data acquisition.
Industrial control systems.
Yeah.
For monitoring and controlling things like power grids, water plants, factories.
Yes. High-level systems that gather data from sensors and allow remote control of industrial processes.
Critical infrastructure stuff
Huh?
often needs high security.
Increasingly so, yes. They're vital systems.
Okay, SCSI.
Small computer system interface, the older parallel version.
Used to connect drives and other peripherals.
Yeah.
Largely replaced by SAS and SATA now.
Yes. Was high performance for its time, allowed chaining multiple devices, but parallel was complex and slower than modern serial interfaces. Still see it in some legacy gear.
Gotcha. SIM.
Subscriber identity module.
The little chip in your phone that connects you to the mobile network.
Yeah,
Stores your subscriber info.
that's the one. Identifies you to the network, holds your phone number, etc.
Essential for mobile phone service.
Indeed. Though eSIMs, embedded SIMs, are becoming more common now too.
Ah, true. SLA.
Service level agreement.
A contract between a service provider and customer. Defines the service standards. Uptime guarantees, support response times.
Exactly. Sets expectations and often includes penalties if the provider doesn't meet the agreed levels.
It's important for business services to ensure quality and reliability.
Very important. Holds providers accountable.
Right. SMART.
Self-monitoring, analysis, and reporting technology. For drives.
Built into HDDs and SSDs, monitors drive health and tries to predict failures.
Yes. Tracks various indicators, error rates, temperature, wear levels to give an early warning if the drive might be failing.
Gives you a chance to back up data before it dies completely.
A very valuable feature for data protection. Pay attention to smart warnings.
Will do. SMB.
Server message block. Network file sharing protocol.
Used mainly in Windows for accessing shared files and printers on a network. CIFS is a version of it.
Yes. The underlying protocol for Windows file sharing lets you map network drives, access shared folders.
Fundamental for local network resource sharing.
Absolutely.
Okay, SMS.
Short message service.
Basic text messaging on phones.
The standard 160-character text messages. Simple, widely available.
Got it. SMTP.
Simple mail transfer protocol.
The protocol used for sending email between servers.
Yes. When you hit send, your client talks SMTP to your server, and servers talk SMTP to each other to deliver the mail.
Handles the transmission part of email.
Yep, correct.
Okay, so
Small outline dual inline memory module.
smaller version of DIMM RAM sticks for laptops and small PCs.
Exactly. Same function, just more compact to fit in tighter spaces.
Makes sense.
SOHO.
Small office, home office.
Refers to small businesses, often run from home or a small office space. Less than 10 employees typically.
Yes, a specific market segment with particular IT needs and budgets.
Right. SOP.
Standard operating procedure.
Step-by-step instructions for routine tasks to ensure consistency, quality, compliance.
Exactly. Documented procedures to make sure things are done the same way, correctly, every time. Reduces errors, improves efficiency.
Important in many industries. Okay, SPF. Sender Policy Framework. Email authentication again?
Helps prevent spoofing by letting domain owners list which servers are allowed to send email for their domain.
Yes. Published in DNS records. Receiving servers check the sending server's IP against the SPF record.
Another tool, along with DKIM and DMAR, to fight spam and phishing.
Correct. Helps verify the sender's legitimacy.
Okay.
SPICE.
Simple protocol for independent computing environments.
An open source system for remote display, mainly for virtual machines.
Yes. Lets you access and interact with a VM's desktop remotely over the network.
Key part of many virtualization platforms.
Provides that remote console access efficiently.
Got it. SQL.
Structured query language.
The standard language for talking to relational databases.
Yeah.
Querying, updating, managing data.
That's the one. Used to interact with databases like MySQL, PostgreSQL, SQL Server, Oracle.
Essential skill for anyone working with data.
Absolutely fundamental in the database world.
Okay. SSD.
Solid state drive.
Storage using flash memory chips. No moving parts. Much faster than HDDs. Yes. Faster boot times. App loading. File transfers. More durable, quieter, lower power consumption too.
The standard primary drive in most computers now.
Pretty much, yeah. Prices have come down significantly too.
SSH.
Secure shell.
Secure protocol for remote login and command execution. Encrypts the connection.
Yes. Allows secure command line access to remote servers over an unsecured network. Protects passwords and commands.
Essential for securely managing Linux servers and network devices remotely.
Standard practice for secure remote administration.
Okay. SSID.
Service set identifier.
The name of a Wi-Fi network. The name you see when you scan for networks.
That's all it is. The broadcast name that identifies a particular wireless network.
Simple. And SSO.
Single sign-on.
Log in once, access multiple applications, uses things like SAML.
Yes. Authenticate one time to an identity provider, then get access to various connected services without re-entering credentials.
Improves convenience and can improve security by reducing password fatigue.
A common goal in enterprise identity management.
Great. Okay, we are on the home stretch. T through Z. Let's start with TACAS.
Terminal Access Controller Access Control System. Often take KCAS plus Jack.
Another AAA protocol like Radius. Often used for managing access to network devices like routers and switches.
Yes. It distinctly separates the authentication, authorization, and accounting functions, which offers more flexibility than Radius in some ways.
Provides granular control over who can log into network gear and what commands they can run.
Exactly. Common in enterprise network management.
Okay. TCP.
Transmission Control Protocol.
The reliable counterpart to IP. Ensures data arrives correctly, in order, error checked.
Yes. Establishes a connection, manages data flow, handles retransmissions if packets are lost. Like a registered mail service for data.
Used for web browsing, HTTPS, email, file transfers, anything needing reliable delivery.
The workhorse protocol for reliable internet communication.
Right. TKP.
Temporal Key Integrity Protocol, Wi-Fi security.
An older protocol meant to replace the very insecure WP, used with WPA.
Yes. It was an interim improvement, but is now considered insecure itself.
So, shouldn't be used anymore. Need WPA2 or WPA3 with AES.
Absolutely. TKIP has known vulnerabilities. Modern networks need AES encryption.
Got it. Security standards evolve. Okay, TN.
Twisted pneumatic, LCD panel type again.
Older tech, known for fast response times. Good for gaming, maybe. But narrow viewing angles.
That's the trade-off. Often cheaper, faster response, but colors and contrast shift if you view it from the side.
Compared to IPS or VA panels.
Right.
Okay, TOTP.
Time-based one-time password.
It's a type of OTP where the code changes every 30 or 60 seconds. Generated by authenticator apps.
Yes, based on a shared secret and the current time, used for MFA.
Those codes you get from Google Authenticator or similar apps, time-sensitive, so very secure.
Highly effective second factor for authentication.
Cool.
TPM.
Trusted platform module.
A security chip on the motherboard. Stores encryption keys securely in hardware.
Yes.
Provides a hardware root of trust for things like disk encryption, BitLocker, secure boot, platform integrity checks. Makes the system much harder to tamper with at a low level.
Enhances overall system security significantly, becoming standard in most modern computers.
Good to know. UAC.
User account control. Windows security feature.
The pop-up asking for permission when you try to do something administrative, like installing software or changing system settings.
That's the one. Tries to prevent unauthorized changes and limit the impact of malware running with standard user privileges.
Can be a bit annoying sometimes, but it's there for protection.
A necessary friction point for security, yes.
Okay, UDP.
User datagram protocol.
The other main transport protocol alongside TCP. But this one is connectionless, faster, but unreliable.
Correct.
Yep.
No guaranteed delivery, no guaranteed order. Less overhead than TCP, so lower latency.
Like sending postcards fast, but no promises. Good for streaming, gaming, VoIP IP where speed matters more than perfect reliability.
Exactly. Applications that can handle some packet loss or have their own error correction often use UDP for speed.
Okay, UEFI.
Unified Extensible Firmware Interface.
The modern replacement for the old BIOS firmware. More features, graphical interface, faster boot.
Yes. Supports larger drives, secure boot, network booting capabilities, more advanced pre-OS environment. Standard now.
Got it. UPnP.
Universal plug and play. Networking protocols.
Lets devices on a network automatically discover each other and configure connections for media sharing, etc.
That's the idea of seamless device interaction.
But it has security risks associated with it sometimes. Often recommended to disable it.
It has historically had vulnerabilities that could expose devices to the internet. So yes, caution is advised. Disable if not needed.
Good tip.
UPS, uninterruptible power supply.
A battery backup for your computer or other critical gear kicks in instantly if the power goes out.
Yes, provides temporary power from batteries during an outage, surge, or brownout.
Gives you time to save your work and shut down gracefully. Protects against data loss and hardware damage.
Essential for servers and a very good idea for desktop PCs too.
Agreed. USB.
Universal serial bus.
The standard interface for connecting pretty much everything to computers now. Keyboards, mice, printers, drives, phones.
The ubiquitous connector. Handles data and often power. Many versions now with increasing speeds. USB 2, 3, 4, USB-C.
Hard to imagine computers without it.
Truly revolutionized peripheral connectivity.
Okay. UTM.
Unified threat management.
A security appliance that bundles multiple functions together. Firewall, intrusion prevention, antivirus, content filtering, all in one box.
Yes, a consolidated security solution, aiming to simplify management for small to medium businesses especially.
An all-in-one approach to network security.
Can be cost-effective and easier to manage than separate point solutions.
Makes sense. VA
Vertical alignment, another LCD panel type.
offers good contrast, better viewing angles than TN, maybe not as wide as IPS.
Generally fits between TN and IPS in terms of viewing angles and response time, but often has the best contrast ratio of the three. A good all-around choice.
Okay, VDI.
Virtual desktop infrastructure.
Hosting desktop operating systems on servers, and users access them remotely.
Yes. Your desktop runs in the data center, and you connect to it from almost any device.
Centralizes management, security. Good for remote work scenarios.
Offers flexibility and control for organizations managing many user desktops.
Right, VGA.
Video graphics array, the old analog video connector.
Blue connector usually. Largely replaced by DVI, HDMI, DisplayPort.
Yes. Still lingers on some projectors and older equipment, but image quality isn't as good as digital.
A legacy standard. Okay, VLAN.
Virtual LAN or virtual local area network.
Logically dividing a physical network into separate broadcast domains. Devices on different VLANs can't talk directly.
Correct. Allows you to segment your network for security or organizational purposes, even if devices are plugged into the same physical switch.
Improves security, reduces network congestion, very flexible network design tool.
Widely used in managed networks.
Okay. VNC.
Virtual network computing.
A system for graphical desktop sharing. Lets you remotely control another computer's screen. Platform independent.
Yes. Similar outcome to RDP, but VNC is an open specification with clients and servers for many operating systems.
Another option for remote access and support.
Indeed,
VoIP.
Voice over Internet Protocol.
Making phone calls over the internet instead of traditional phone lines.
That's it. Services like Skype, Zoom Phone, many business phone systems now use VoIP.
Often cheaper, more flexible, more features than old phone systems.
Generally, yes.
Yeah.
Has become the standard for voice communications.
Okay. VPN.
Virtual private network.
Creates a secure, encrypted tunnel for your internet traffic over a public network.
Yes. Protects your data from eavesdropping, especially on public Wi-Fi. Can also mask your location or bypass geo-restrictions.
Essential for privacy and security online, and for remote access to corporate networks.
Very widely used for both personal and business purposes.
VRAM.
Video random access memory.
Special RAM just for the graphics card. Stores textures, image data for rendering.
Exactly. Dedicated memory for the GPU to use. More VRAM allows for higher resolutions, more detailed textures in games and graphics work.
Crucial for graphics performance.
Very much so.
Okay. WAN.
Wide area network.
A network spanning a large geographical area, connecting LANs together. The internet is the biggest example.
All correct. Connects sites across cities, countries, continents.
Got it.
WAP, wireless access point.
The device that broadcasts the Wi-Fi signal. Lets wireless devices connect to the network, often built into routers.
Yes. The central connection point for a WLAN.
Okay.
WinRMM.
Windows remote management.
Microsoft's standard way for remotely managing Windows computers, using protocols like WS management.
Yes. Allows administrators to run commands, scripts, manage settings on remote Windows machines securely.
Important for managing Windows servers and clients at scale.
Key tool for Windows administration.
WUS.
Wireless Internet Service Provider.
An ISP that delivers internet using wireless tech, like fixed wireless, often in rural areas. Yes. Where laying cable isn't feasible, YASPs can provide broadband using point-to-point or point-to-multipoint radio links.
Vital connectivity for underserved areas.
Absolutely.
Okay.
LAN.
Wireless LAN or wireless local area network.
A LAN that uses wireless communication, like Wi-Fi, instead of cables. Your typical home or office Wi-Fi network is a WLAN. Offers mobility and convenience.
Right.
WPA? Wi-Fi protected access. Older Wi-Fi security standard.
Came after WEP, used TKIP.
Er,
Better than WEP, but now superseded by WPA2 and WP3.
Correct.
Yeah.
WPA was an interim step. WPA2 with AE has been the standard for a long time, and WPA3 is the latest and most secure.
Always use the strongest security your devices support.
Best practice, definitely.
Okay.
HLB1?
Wireless wide area network.
Wireless network over a large area, like cellular networks, 4G, 5G.
Exactly. Provides mobile internet access over the cellular infrastructure.
Lets your phone or laptop connect almost anywhere there's a cell signal.
That's the idea.
XDR.
Extended detection and response. Cybersecurity tech. Goes beyond EDR, endpoint, by collecting and correlating data from multiple sources. Endpoints, email, cloud, network.
Yes, a more holistic approach. Tries to connect the dots across different security layers for better threat visibility and faster response.
Breaking down security silos for a unified view.
That's the goal. More context, better detection.
Okay, XFS.
Extended file system. High-performance Linux file system.
Known for scalability, reliability, good for large file system servers.
Yes. Originally from SGI, a mature, robust journaling file system popular in Linux environments, especially for large data volumes.
Another option alongside X2, ZFS, etc. in the Linux world.
Correct.
And finally, XSS.
Cross-site scripting.
Yeah.
Web security vulnerability.
Where attackers inject malicious scripts, usually JavaScript, into websites, and those scripts run in other users' browsers.
Exactly. Can be used to steal cookies, session tokens, login credentials, redirect users, deface websites.
A very common and dangerous web vulnerability. Developers need to prevent it with proper coding practices.
Input validation and output encoding are key defenses. Significant risk if not handled properly.
Phew. Okay, wow, that was a lot. What an incredible journey through all those CompTIA A+ acronyms.
It certainly covers a lot of ground.
Yeah. We really hope this deep dive has been super helpful for you, our Acronym Academy audience, in, making sense of these terms.
And understanding why they're important in the tech world.
Exactly. Knowing these is really a big step in navigating IT.
Absolutely. It gives you the vocabulary to understand and discuss these fundamental concepts.
So if you found this useful, please do give the video a thumbs up. Share it with anyone else who might be studying for A+, or just curious about tech terms.
And definitely subscribe to the Acronym Academy channel for more deep dives like this.
Yes. And let us know in the comments which acronyms did you find most interesting? Or are there other lists you'd like us to tackle? We'd love to hear from you.
Thanks everyone for tuning in.
Yeah, thanks so much for joining us, and we'll see you in the next deep dive.